The leader of the Scottish Labour Party is a man called Anas Sarwar. Now, he's been the leader for quite a few years, I think since 2021, around that time. And recently in the news, there was a bit of a public argument with Reform UK, and Reform essentially levelled the criticism at Mr. Sarwar that he was focusing on the Pakistani community and not the needs of the Scottish people. Now, Mr. Sarwar came out with a very, very strident rebuttal to that, and he said that Reform were just playing division politics and, they're just a tiny little crowd of people who don't matter to politics. So I thought we'd have a look at that criticism today and see if there was any truth to it.
We will only truly get real power if we just have more Pakistanis sitting in council chambers and parliaments, but actually having more Pakistanis and South Asians sitting in the corridors of power making the decisions. And that's where I'll end tonight, is to say the change is coming, and the days where our South Asian community are viewed as a vote bank or a curry bank are well and truly gone. The days where South Asian communities get to lead political parties and get to lead countries is now upon us. The days when South Asian communities get to decide not just which school our children go to, but what they are taught in those schools is also coming.
Now, my personal belief with regard to leaders and anybody in political life should be the following. The first thing is that you should be born in this country. That's critical, I believe. Now, Mr. Sarwar certainly fits that description. He was born in Scotland, so that's fine. And I believe anybody that was born in the United Kingdom gets the right, regardless of skin colour, regardless of religion, or any other characteristic that you could name, be it, sexuality, age, all of those protected characteristics apply. I believe that anybody should be allowed to gain office, and that's fine, perfectly fine in my book. However, the problem then comes when somebody who is a first generation immigrant, as Mr. Sarwar is, seems to want to bring about a more prominent Pakistani Muslim presence within the Scottish Parliament. Now, to me, this isn't really for the Scottish people. Really, you should be talking to Scottish people en masse, and if there are any, Pakistani Muslims who are Scottish who want to aspire to Parliament, then that's fine, not a problem with that. But the problem comes really when Mr. Sarwar is promoting this. So why would you be promoting a certain religion, a certain group of people over the needs of other people? And then, of course, I came across an interesting video, I thought, of Mr. Sarwar's father, who has some very, very strong views on blasphemy in modern Britain.
Inshallah, time will come that there will be a law in place all over the world that there can be no disrespect to our beloved Holy Prophet Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And lastly, I want to say, as Brother Imam Qasim has said, that we love our beloved Prophet more than our parents, than our daughters, than our sisters, than our sons. So there is no way. The message is loud and clear from the people in Glasgow, Scotland, and 1.5 billion Muslims all over the world, that any disrespect to our beloved Prophet and any burning of Holy Quran will be unacceptable, intolerable, and the Muslims will not tolerate this. And inshallah, I am sure that we'll be able to pass the law with United Nations and with European Union that in future, if anybody commits this crime, they will be prosecuted and brought to justice.
And I think we can see where Mr. Sarwar may get some of his public speaking skills. His father came out and I thought he smashed that one out the park, didn't he? He certainly went to the crowd, they were rapt with attention, and he certainly let us know how he felt about bringing justice to those people who would have the cheek and the audacity to have a go at his beloved prophet. And that's obviously relating to modern day blasphemy laws, which are, of course, completely ridiculous. But within that, I think that lends itself to making us understand Mr. Sarwar's upbringing. I mean, that was Mr. Sarwar's father. So I think we can take a wild stab in the dark here, and we can kind of picture what Mr. Sarwar's upbringing was like, because his father there is obviously a deeply religious man. He obviously believes wholeheartedly in the book, and you can imagine the conversations that his father was having with his son when his son was a very young man. And when we transpose that onto Mr. Sarwar's speech, I think we start to understand why these claims have been levelled at Mr. Sarwar, because this is something that is obviously coming out of him. And of course, there was a speech a little while ago where the previous First Minister of Scotland, Humza Yousaf, delivered what I would claim to be the most racist speech I've ever heard by a politician. And Mr. Sarwar actually done a version of that himself in the Scottish Parliament while he was banging his hand on the table, and here's a reminder of a racist speech that Mr. Sarwar has himself done.
Every chief executive of every council and every government department, white. Every director of a department in Scotland, white. Every principal of a college or university in Scotland, white. Every head teacher in Scotland, white. Every chair of a public sector body in Scotland, white. Every High Court judge in Scotland, white. Every present governor in Scotland, white. Every editor of a news organisation in Scotland, white. Why?
So allow me to answer that question for Mr. Sarwar. So Scotland itself is 93% white. That's why there will be a lot of white people inhabiting all of the major roles within Scotland, because by and large Scotland is a white country, and use of the word white in that respect I consider to be deeply offensive and racist. Doesn't matter what colour you are, in whatever position you are. To talk about ethnicity in that way is disgusting behaviour and racist behaviour. And, coming from a black person or a Pakistani person, I consider that behaviour to be reprehensible, as he is a representative of the Scottish people as a whole, and talking about ethnicity in white people in that way is disgusting, in my opinion. Now, Western democracies themselves are very open and welcoming, and they are quite happy to allow people from various ethnicities and backgrounds and every part of, as I've previously said, human characteristics, and that is correct in my opinion. However, what's happening now, we are having a lot of people aspiring to these positions within authority all around the United Kingdom and indeed in some parts of Europe. And what's happening here is, when these people ascend to power, they appear to want to focus on members of their own community to the detriment of everybody else. So we're supposed to be quite happy about the fact that we can have diverse background individuals aspire to power within the United Kingdom. However, it would seem time and time again that when these people aspire to power, once they achieve it, they then turn around and start focusing on their own community to the detriment, as I've previously said, of everybody else. And this is something that happens quite frequently. And my question to you is this: how do Western democracies respond to this?
रिप्रेजेंट कर रही हूँ अपने पाकिस्तानी सारी आवाम को, पाकिस्तानी मुसलमान औरतों को। माशाल्लाह मुझे बहुत फख्र हो रहा है, हिजाब पहना हुआ है, जहाँ पे जाऊँगी मैं रिप्रेजेंट करूँगी एक मुसलमान औरत जो रदरम की मेयर बनी है। साउथ यॉर्कशायर में पहली पाकिस्तानी कश्मीरी औरत मेयर बनी हूँ। माशाल्लाह बहुत फख्र की बात है। आई एम एब्सोल्युटली प्रिविलेज्ड, इट्स एन ऑनर टू बी इन दिस पोजीशन।
को मुबारकबाद देता हूँ। ये तो कि हिस्ट्री बन की हमारी जो साउथ यॉर्कशायर में जो फर्स्ट फीमेल मेयर हैं, मेयर है,